Coming up, you've got a list here, Adam, of your parenting fails. Would you like to tell us some of your fails?
I mean, it's difficult to know where to start. We've reversed over 3 buggies.
As a former doctor, what's the most creative, non-medical object you've ever had to retrieve from a patient's orifice?
I'd say very worst being a toilet brush.
What?
We do an Easter egg hunt in our garden.
Yeah.
And one year I asked Jesse to hide all the eggs, in the garden.
He was like, oh, it's a bomb.
But he planted all these eggs. That was his job.
Yeah.
He did such a good job of it. No one found anything. I like to get an Easter egg myself.
Well, Andy won't buy me an Easter egg.
Why?
He won't. So I used to go out with this guy, right, who was also called Andy, my first boyfriend.
No way.
And he used to go to this handmade chocolate shop. And he used to buy me this Easter egg, and it was filled with like handmade chocolates. But I'm not joking, Louise, it was like that big, like that. And it was unbelievable. He used to buy one for me and he'd buy one for my mum. So the first Easter I got together with my now husband, also called Andy, I mentioned to him, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get you an Easter egg and stuff. I was, just checking he was going to get me one. And I said, because like Andy, who I used to go out with, he used to buy me. And then I was like, the most amazing. I described it exactly how I just described it to you.
Yeah.
And Andy looked at me, now Andy, and he went, I'm not buying you an Easter egg.
Wow, and he still hasn't done.
And he's never bought me an Easter egg.
Wow.
He won't do it.
Even though his surname is basically Easter, it's East.
Yeah, he just won't do it.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I've birthed 3 humans for you. I just want an Easter egg. I've never had a push present. I just want an Easter egg with chocolates inside the egg.
There's something that I did a reel the other day about how my husband is around the house compared to how he is around the car. And like, I don't know if you saw it, but like he's around the house, you leave like coffee cups and, packets of crisps, whatever.
In the car.
In the car, crikey.
Yeah.
It's like his shrine or something. If there's like anything in the car, he won't even let the kids eat in the car.
No. Andy won't either. This is a thing with men. So Andy got his car and Logan got in it and he'd been in the garden and his feet just touched the back of Andy's seat and there was mud prints on it.
Oh
my God.
Oh
you
my
would
gosh.
think Andy was about to give himself a hernia.
Oh no.
I was like, calm down, Andy. And he was like, not in my car, Hannah.
No.
You can do this in your mum's car, eat in her car,
Yeah.
like it is a bin, my car.
Yes.
So Andy went online and bought like covers for the seats. So they wrap round the back, all around the seat, all in front of his seat. He's got these waterproof coverings to cover the back of it. And I'm like, why can't you see the laundry on the stairs? How can you not see hair in the sink, but you can see a little crumb in the back of your car?
Crazy. It's crazy. I want to know why. You've got a list here, Adam, of your parenting fails. Would you like to tell us some of your fails?
I mean, it's difficult to know where to start. We've reversed over 3 buggies, our own buggies,
Christ.
empty. But I mean, it's one of the major sort of lines on what turns out to be the childcare budget is the frequency with which we've only put 1 buggy back in the car.
So do you mean you've literally run over your own buggy?
Yes.
Oh, wow. 3 of them?
3 of them.
Wow. Okay, no, I've never done that.
Okay, well, that's just a me thing. That's just a me thing.
Have you done that, Hannah?
I haven't. I was just wondering about, maybe getting your eyesight checked or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a blind spot in the car's reversing car. Or maybe
Blame the car.
Blame
It's
the
fine.
car.
Yeah, the car's fault.
Had a medical fail, actually. So Ruby got to... About a year, she started speaking quite early doors, and she was saying a few words. And obviously, all you want to know is your kid saying more than that kid. And she was saying more than some other kids. I was like, hey, I think we got a genius.
Yes, of course.
And then so she had these sort of 4 or 5 words she was doing, and then nothing. And that was her. And then suddenly all the other kids are saying more. And then we get beyond 18 months. And I'm doing the sort of doing the like milestone check online, NHS milestones, and like, by this stage she should be doing sonnets and things. I'm like, oh, she's still doing her 5 words, and James is like, no, it's fine. I mean, sure, it's fine. Everyone progresses at different stages, and I know that, but at the same time, she's not. And so I'm like, we go and see someone and organise a speech therapy session, and so the lovely speech therapist comes around the house, and first thing is that. He's got like this bag of toys, bag of different objects, and the idea is, takes them out just to work out the vocab, all these different things, and so takes one out and said, you know what, that's cool, and he goes, yep, spoon. It's like, you've never said that before.
Wow.
What's that one, Teddy? What's that one, plate? What's that one,
my
clock?
God.
I was like, you have, and I'm apologising. It's obviously fine and good, and I'm very happy that she's saying this stuff. But it's like when you take the car to the garage and it's got the engine light on, and as soon as you get in, it's like, no, I swear that light, the red light looked like the engine. It was there
It was
this
like
morning.
that yesterday, I promise.
Yeah.
I remember my son went through this fear of sharks, and I couldn't figure it out. And I ended up taking him to A&E, and on the wall to the children's ward, sharks and fish. So again, he was freaking out. And even the lady at A&E was like, I don't know, like maybe it's more psychological, like I don't understand. So I ended up taking him to like the Portland hospital, spent £400, and the doctor just went, what's the matter? And he just went, I don't like sharks.
No,
He didn't. And I was like, are you kidding me? I've spent a week thinking that you're seriously messed up. And it's my, like, and I was, and I've been saying to him, what's the matter? What's the matter? Let's put on Little
Tell
Mermaid.
Mummy.
Here's the shark scene.
This is a baby shark.
I'm making him worse.
Look at the ocean, darling. Look at the ocean.
Yeah, and you don't realise how many sharks in kids' programmes and everything, they're everywhere.
Yeah, we're quite a pro-shark family. So they're like, basically, anytime, so I've got my little, office, and they'll come in and they'll, and one of the main things they'll ask to see to interrupt me is, can I look at a video of sharks?
Yeah.
And so they'll come in, and so I play one, and there's, this sort of quite dramatic, and they're sort of jumping out the water and that. And then Ruby was like, can I see a video of a shark eating a man? I was like, no, you cannot. What's wrong with you? Keep an eye on you.
Oh my God.
You're like, just watch YouTube for another 10 minutes. It'll come up on me.
Wow. So usually we get our listeners to write in with their fails, sometimes their wins, but because we have a doctor, I know you haven't practiced for about 14 years, but we're going to go with this anyway, because I'm sure some of these dilemmas you'll be able to answer, and some of them are
things
funny.
I've read in the back of cereal packets and things. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Right, let's go. First one. I am currently obsessed with the smell of my baby's head. Not just, oh, that's nice, but full on sniffing like he's a fine vintage wine. My husband thinks I've lost my mind. Is this a biological phenomenon, or have I genuinely developed a weird addiction?
It is a nice smell.
Oh,
It is something sort of, and it shouldn't be, but there's just something
it's
sort
so-
of in your
so
brainstem
good.
telling you that's good.
But can you imagine though if it stank and it was repulsive? Like you literally parent differently.
There's enough problems
Yes.
without, with brand new babies,
Yeah.
there's enough of them that smells bad without their head smell. But maybe is it worth just contacting Diptyque and saying, if you think of a new diffuser. I'm sure it would sell. Baby head.
Yeah. Right, next one. My baby hasn't pooed for 5 days. She's breastfed and seems happy, but 5 days feels like such a long time. Is there a number where it becomes not fine?
I think anything that isn't normal for that child, then just get on the phone to 111 or the GP or your midwife or health visitor. Just get some advice. Pooing is personal. We all poo different amounts, and adults and babies. If it doesn't feel right to you, just ask for help.
Okay, right. So we've got some more questions I'm going to ask you. So the next one is, my toddler has developed a very specific talent for sticking things where they don't belong. Last week it was a pee up the nose. Today I'm fairly certain there is a missing Lego head somewhere in the digestive tract. As a former doctor, what's the most creative non-medical object you've ever had to retrieve from a patient's orifice?
Well, luckily we're not in the realm of toddlers. Here, I dealt with adults who should know better and have absolutely no excuse. I'd say very worst being a toilet brush.
Up the hole.
And the painful way, because there's two ways you could insert a toilet brush. So yeah, bristles first. Who are we to judge?
I mean, how did you get it out?
I think that was beyond the sort of house officer in A&E. That was surgical team.
And what? And like, I
God,
have so many questions with that. Like, I guess you can't.
You've got to have a hobby.
Well, yes.
I mean, right. I mean, was that person? Would that be for pleasure? Would someone do that for pleasure?
It'd be for pleasure, and yeah,
It's got
for pleasure.
God.
I just go to the cinema.
Yeah,
but,
I go for a massage or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So at that point, how do you keep a straight face?
That's one of the biggest issues.
The professionalism has to take over.
So yeah, it's like the duck, the swan with its legs doing that under. So you're you're very good at poker as a doctor. Basically, maintain the veneer of professionalism.
Yeah.
And you've got this 80-year-old man telling me he uses this sort of colossal butt plug called the Master, and you just have to.
80.
Oh no, this one wasn't. But like, but you're in clinic and someone's telling this stuff, and then this was a young man with a boyfriend and a mother, and the mother didn't know who was gay. It was quite an interesting one. But this thing happens, and then you just have to keep a straight face and say,
pretend it's me. So I've just come to you and I've said, listen, I've put a toilet brush up my hole, and I can't get it out.
And
I put it there.
And when did this happen, madam?
You
just have to do that. Yeah. And then the professionalism slightly melts away when 15 years later or 20 years later go on a podcast and talk about it.
Is there anything you worry about your kid? I don't mean toilet brushes up their bums, but I mean, where there's like knives in the kitchen, or are there any things that you're really strict on, like danger, hazard?
So, I think probably like in a lot of relationships, there are two types of parent.
Yeah.
James is the childproof in the house, and I'm the I'll probably be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I'd say that's that's sort of the main source of friction in our relationship.
Yeah.
And James will be telling me that I haven't cut the cherry tomatoes into enough pieces. I'm just glad I remembered.
Yeah. I love that. It's so true, though, that like, the opposites attract, where I'm like, oh my God, be careful of this, be careful of that. And then other things I am so relaxed about that my husband's really uptight about. And we have that pattern, and that just causes arguments. So.
Do either of you get uptight about the cleanliness of your car? No?
I mean, so there's this interesting thing that I'm sure you've heard about, that first children are much more likely to get all sorts of allergies and asthma and eczema and hay fever and things like that, because first time around you're like, must sanitize everything. Second time you're like, oh God, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And so because they're exposed to more of these allergens in their lives, they end up having sort of slightly meatier immune systems. But because of my attitude to overall cleanliness in life, the car's knee deep in crisp packets. I don't know if it's ever seen seen a baby wipe on any of the plastic. But I think they're going to be fine immunity wise.
Okay, this is the next one. I'm pregnant with my second child, and she's measuring in the 91st percentile already. My son was big too, but this time around they're worried about gestational, I always said that wrong. Gestational diabetes. I'm really healthy and active. What do you think? Do I need to be worried? And what's your advice? Why does this happen at all? What's the cause?
So it's a good question. So pregnancy, as you well know, is a big stress on the system and changes all the levels of basically everything. You've got, like your blood volume increases by over a third, and your pulse changes, and your breathing rate changes, and it's this enormous change to the body. And alongside that, sometimes things happen that you don't want to happen, and these conditions such as gestational. You've made me not say it now.
I know, sorry.
Gestational diabetes occur, and it doesn't mean that you've got diabetes. It just means that the stress it's put on your body tips your sort of insulin resistance, it's called, into that category. But the important thing is just to get tested. It's part of, routine testing, particularly if a baby's measuring big. But it's a very good thing to go for that test because it's a condition that, is quite manageable. It's one of those things. Doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. You haven't. And it doesn't mean you've got diabetes. You don't. It's a separate thing.
I know lots of pregnant women who get told that they are like bigger than they should be for where they are in their pregnancy, and pregnant women get so worried. And actually, a lot of the time, the baby's
some babies are big, some babies are small. So every time you go for an appointment, you get out this measuring tape, and they do that thing, and they press down there, and they press down there, and it's a bit sore, and they look at it and go, "Oh, that's about right." That's a screening tool. So basically, that can be, miles off, depending if you're skinny or less skinny, and all sorts of things, the way the baby's lying. But that's just a first sort of screening thing. All right, maybe we should just get you a big scan. And look. Some babies are 5%, some babies are 95%. But the important thing is that the 5% baby stays at that level all the way across. And it isn't a 5% baby who next week is a 3% baby. If mum's 6'9", dad's 8'4", the baby's not going to be on the 50th centile. There's all sorts of things going on.
But also with all my pregnancies, I felt like with my third pregnancy, my tummy was bigger than my first pregnancy. So my body was just going, oh, here we go again. And so I think my percentile looked big, and the baby was actually the smallest one I had.
When they're weighing the baby, when they do an estimate of the fetal weight, that can, there's some algorithm that calculates it. That can sometimes be out by, 10, 20%.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Now that we're asking questions.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the accuracy of the tape measure from your belly button to your pubic bone? When you go for your checkups with your midwives and stuff. And as you just touched on it then, it depends where the baby's lying or, because every time I've gone towards the latter part of my pregnancy, if I've had maybe a student midwife that's measured it and it's been like 2-3 centimetres out from the previous time, and then I kind of want to say, but it was measured a different part of my pubic bone.
It's clearly not super accurate as a measuring tool in whoever's hands, and we know that just because there's so many variables. But it's a cheap, free, easy, quick way of just checking. If it does measure, your number of weeks, then great, on you go. If it doesn't, if you end up having an extra ultrasound,
I liked it, a few times where it's like, oh, we're not measuring quite the same. It's like, go for an ultrasound, because I was obsessed with having scans. I'd go for a private scan every week with all my pregnancies. I must have spent thousands of pounds, but that's me having 2 miscarriages where I was so scared that something was wrong. Because twice I've been told the baby's okay, and then the week later I've lost it. So I've been like, scan every night. I'd sit with a Doppler on my stomach and listen, and every week. And my husband used to be like, should I just buy shares in this place that you keep going, or should we just buy one of the machines? Should I buy you one of these ultrasound machines and then you can see the baby? Because I was absolutely obsessed with it. So when they'd say at the hospital, oh, you have to go for a scan, I think, well, there's me save 50 quid this week. It wasn't a bad thing.
I think everyone is happy to get the reassurance of an ultrasound.
Adam, I want to talk about your new book.
It's called Dexter Proctor and the Case of the Disappearing Doctor, and it is out now. And you don't need to have read the first one, but you can have read the first one. And there's a huge mystery in the town of Lilydale where Dexter is based, and him and his mates have to solve it. And it's got some medicine in there, and it's got lots of disgustingness in there.
Oh, brilliant! I love
that. I think it's dead fun. And we've also made that now into a special, which will be out on the BBC at some point later this year.
Well, I can't imagine what it'd be like for you to have spent all this time writing, like in an office at home, surrounded by chaos with 2 kids, and then to see it all come into fruition must be like such an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's slightly changed my working hours having kids. And in fact, the first Dexter book was dedicated to Anna, Elsa and Olaf for keeping my kids quiet for long enough to be able to write it.
I love that.
That's absolutely
you literally dedicated your book to them?
Yeah. Without
think
them,
that's
that would have
brilliant.
not been possible.
That's brilliant. Let it go. What's your next book dedication going to be?
So book 2 is dedicated to the favourite of my 2 children, for them to have a lovely argument about when they're old enough to read that.
Oh,
I always think
brilliant.
it's good to have a funny dedication.
Oh, absolutely.
Because some of them are so earnest. This Is Gonna Hurt was the dedication said to James for his wavering support, which was about right.
Do you have a favourite child?
Of course,
Which
we all have
one?
a favourite child.
Today? Which one today?
Which way? That's the question.
yeah.
Which one today? It depends on which one's been an absolute the previous day. doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Although Ruby has taken quite a lead this week. So it's just been World Book Day, which is my favourite thing in the world as an author. I mean, as a parent, slightly less so.
Yeah.
As an author, oh my goodness. So nothing is better than the message from a parent saying, this book has got my kid into reading, or they were a reluctant reader and they read that book. It melts my heart. It makes it all worthwhile. And then the pinnacle of that is World Book Day. And on social media, I start getting sent all these pictures of these kids. And this year I had dozens and dozens and dozens of kids dressed up as Dexter Proctor, which was
Oh my God, that must be
absolutely
amazing.
that's
heart-melting. I
wonderful.
absolutely adore that. And at nursery, World Book Day, and we were like, okay, go on, what do you want to wear? Luckily, we were given, or we remembered to read the email with a bit of notice. So we had about a week's lead up, and we said to the kids, what do you want to be for World Book Day? And Ziggy, and I really like this, it's just, I think it says a bit about the way he thinks. He wanted to be, Zog.
Yeah.
The brilliant Julia Johnson, you're well versed in Zog.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the blue dragon who's in Zog's class but has no lines, but
Right.
just stood
And
in the
there's-
corner of the page
Yeah.
in all of
I love
in all
that.
of them. So that's who he
And there's
relates
no
to.
outfit that you can get on
Amazing.
Amazon quickly.
We found a blue, not identical but close enough blue dragon. He was delighted. And
Aw.
Ruby said, maybe because she knew it would be good books, can I be Dexter? A book that she won't be able to read until she's 7, and
Yeah.
she's
Automatically favourite child.
automatically favourite
Automatically.
child. So that's
Absolutely.
a very easy question at time of press, and I'm sure she will do something absolutely horrendous at nursery today that will reverse the rankings
Yes.
by the time I get home.
There was one year where my son wanted to go as the wardrobe from Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Amazing.
Oh God.
So I made this
Cardboard, brown
sodding
paint.
wardrobe. Like, I put my heart and soul into it. Made it. He looked at it. Didn't like it.
What did you do?
He went wearing a football kit. Adam, thank you so much for being
Thank
here. It's been
you.
an absolute joy.
So much.
You're so funny, and I can't wait to read your next book. I want my kids to read it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. If you've enjoyed the chat, do us a massive favour, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We're dropping new episodes every Monday and Wednesday.